talked a little bit about keeping our bodies in subjection to us. I guess it was a few videos ago. We ought to know how. I'm talking to the little flock, those who have been born again by the washing of regeneration and renewing of the mind by the Holy Spirit, who have received the Holy Spirit with signs following, one of which is prophesying, speaking in tongues. Not all speak in tongues, but some prophesy, some speak in tongues, some interpret. And the gifts are given severally to one person if necessary. Depends on where they can be used. From the throne of God, they say, they asked, who will go for us? Because, God is a spirit, and we are flesh. So he has to send forth flesh, his servants, the prophets, and they must be prepared and disciplined to walk in holiness. This is the works of God that they must operate under. I want to share this out of Jeremiah. It just popped up as I was going through my Bible. Jeremiah chapter 10, chapter 9. Thus saith the Lord, verse 23, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches. That pretty much takes care of politics, sports, and church. But let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me, that I am the Lord which exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. Well, how does he do that? He does it through his servants, those who love him and keep his commandments. He tells them what to say and where to go. For in these things I delight, saith the Lord. He delights in, he exercises in loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness. Remember, Jesus said to the Pharisees, these three things you should have done and not leave the other undone. Judgment, mercy, and faith. Let's talk about mini tico. How many know what mini tico means? It was the writing on the wall, remember? In Daniel chapter 5. They were blaspheming the Holy One of Israel. They were drinking out of the golden cups of the tabernacle, of the temple, getting drunk. And so where does that start at? Well, Daniel finally cuts to the chase when he's called in to interpret, the writing on the wall. And he says, and thou, his son, O Belshazzar, hast not humbled thine heart, though thou knowest all this. He knew all about his father, who was humbled to the form of being a beast for 7 years and was in the wilderness, and his fingernails grew out like claws because he didn't glorify God. He did not give God the glory. And now his son is even in a mockery of the holy vessels of the Lord that were sanctified, and drunken, him and his princes drinking out of them in unholy lips. And thou his son, O Belshazzar, has not humbled thine heart, though thou knewest all these things, but hast lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven. Watch it. You can lift yourself up against the Lord of heaven. That's what Lucifer did. I will ascend above the stars. I will be like the Most High God. Jesus said later, I saw Satan as lightning fall from heaven. But thou hast lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven, and they have brought the vessels of his house before thee, and thou and thy lords and thy wives, oh, our wives, they like to drink too, don't they? And thy concubines have drunk wine in them, and thou hast praised the gods of silver and gold, of brass, iron, wood, and stone, which see not, nor hear, nor know, and the God in whose hand thy breath is. Your breath is in the hands of God. Did you know that? And whose are all thy ways, hast thou not glorified? You have not glorified God. Then was the part of the hand sent from him, and this writing was written, and this is the writing that was written, Mene, Tekel, Upharsin. This is the interpretation of the thing. Daniel, full of the Holy Spirit. This is the interpretation of the thing. Mene, God hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Tekel, thou art weighed in the balances and art found wanting. Perez, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. Then commanded Belshazzar, and they clothed Daniel with scarlet and put a chain of gold about his neck, and made a proclamation concerning him that he should be the third ruler in the kingdom. In that night was Belshazzar the king of the Chaldeans slain, and Darius the Median took the kingdom, being about 62 years old. Judgment without mercy. We've got to be careful. Pride comes before the fall.